Good game. Good game. Good game.
You say? Trevlig match. Trevlig match. Trevlig match. Yes.
Jag tog den sista vägen. Nu är inte ens bara nö. Good game. Boom. Ja.
Vi kommer ihåg det. Lägga i ordning när vi åker ner, då kanske någon kan. Ja. Nej, men det absolut, man gör ju bara så att man kan se lite grann. Aktiva släpp.
Det räcker ju typ att man lägger i ordning de 4 första, för sen så är det ju inte så många. Vad har du för stenen?
Oj, alla tycker det.
Bra. Nikotin, nice. Ja, 60. Bra putt. Tid, baksida! Lite lång. Kommer tappa. Lite lång. Bra nu.
And we're back live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this semi-final here from the Women's Masters Basel. We are looking at Team Wrana from Sweden versus SWE Feltscher's team from Switzerland. Semi-final game. Winner goes on to the final game this afternoon. My name is Bastian Wies. I'll be commentating this and the next game for you. And we really can look forward to an interesting game. Both teams already played a game today. Isabella Wrana and her Swedish side beat Andrea Schöpp this morning to earn their spot in the semi-final.
70. Ja. Bra putt. Bak 10. Top 8.
And SWE Feltscher also coming off a win, obviously, against Russia's Anna Sidorova. Managed to pull one out of the bag. The last end scoring a big 4.
Bra, 13-3.
And both teams are not wasting time.
Redan lättare. Mycket.
Already a lot of rocks in play. And this take-out attempt doesn't quite work out. Wrecking on the guard.
Ja. Ja. 10-15. Järnet!
And that looks like it picked.
Vad hade ni? 40. Vad hade du?
That was well short of the hog line. Of course, being removed now. Gives a second chance to SWE Feltscher. And Stephanie Berse to make a play at those two rocks in the house. Is a bit wide, overcompensated a little bit. So not much change, just pushed it to the side a little bit. And so Almeida de Val also gets a second chance at the draw in. And this looks a fair bit closer than the one before. Jenny ball in and Fanny Hjöberg on the brush. Perfect adjustment there. Really filling up this house. Well, there's a good potential of scoring multiple points here. So run back attempt there. Oh, a bit early on the sweeping there. Swept a little bit. It just goes by, opens it up. So now what do you do?
Okej, om jag hade 0, ja precis.
Electing to play the center guard. Not quite typical when you have hammer, but when you lie in a pretty good position like this, and you're already in the house 3 times, you might as well consider it.
Fanny.
Some directional sweeping there at the end to get the most curl out of this rock.
Fanny. 14-9.
Really does a good job. And another run back attempt. Oh, and doesn't manage to remove a single one. Pushes them to the side a little bit. And now there's really 2 options, so either you clear the center guard to keep the game open, or you go right in again. Offensive action. It's definitely the style we've seen all weekend from this Swedish team. And upon realizing that this rock will be heavy, they tried to sweep it as far back as they could, get some separation between those rocks, get them off the forefoot, so that even if there is a freeze, that there will still be enough space to work with. So Team Feltscher really has to be careful now. There's already 4 rocks in the scoring area. And giving up a 4 is definitely not what you're looking for in a first end. So many club curlers might be tempted here to play a double takeout or make some rocks move. But not so Binia Feltscher, quite confident with her draw weight to come around and sit top forefoot. Of course that would turn the end around completely. But it's also a big risk, because if you don't make this one, you're looking at definitely multiple score. Tough first shot of a game.
Den känns lite lång. Den är lång på klockan.
The sweepers are not touching it. Rubs off the shot rock.
Ja.
Leaving the Swedish team line 2. So now clearing the center guard is probably the right call.
Alltså här. Gillar du det bättre? Yeah.
Because even if Binia Feltscher were to play the double takeout on her last, there would still be a fairly easy double back for 2 or as many as 3 even. Which really is what you're looking for, get your deuce on the board with hammer. This team has really been very good with hammer. I've especially seen that in last night's skins game.
Yep. Janet.
Clears the card. Of course there is a little pocket now for Binia Feltscher to draw to.
Bra.
But she doesn't have much room for error there. So you have to make sure that you place this rock in front of the, from this perspective, left hand side red, so that there will not be a double takeout available. So place it pretty much on the tee line, even as far as freeze would be okay. Freeze would probably put you in a very good shape. Of course, nice now for Binia Feltscher getting to play the same rock again. This cannot be heavy. This cannot bounce off. Looking really, really close, and this is the perfect shot right there. Well, this is a mental bullet also a little bit. You were looking at 2, 3, maybe even a 4, and now you're forced to take your single. Which shows that you cannot give Binia Feltscher the opportunity to play the same rock twice. If she misses it once, she will get it the next time. And this is just a perfect example of that. So draw to the button for a single.
Ingen rygg. Karla ganska mycket nu. Linje. Håll i den. One.
Heavy draw onto the nose of the shot rock. Finishing this end at 1 for the Swedish side, nothing for Binia Feltscher.
Ja, vi pressar dem med många stenar ändå hela tiden. Ja. Så nu är outhand den curlande. Nära. 10.
Second dance starting off with center guard. Now the first even end of the game, so they'll probably be looking to score.
Bra, Fanny.
And this is already very offensive play there from the Swiss team, trying to play a so-called soft peel or tick shot.
95 på den, så lite svagare på den sidan än vi trodde ändå.
Play it about backline weight, try and push that center guard to the side and roll in with your own, or to the side and create another corner guard. This has to curl.
Om du ska dra där så 70.
And just misses. Very well played there. Just a tad heavy. As you can see, that was about hackline weight, I think.
75, 80.
With backline, this would have been perfect. And doesn't quite get to come around there. Sweepers didn't look too unhappy with it.
Tyckte du att det ser ut som att den skar? Jag vet inte. Okej. Kändes som att den tappar jättemycket fart.
And another soft peel attempt. Doesn't work out either.
90 kanske.
There's already quite a lot of rocks in front of the house.
Ja, men tror ni 90?
3 out of 4. Now come around attempt. For Almida de Val.
Bra, det är mycket. Jag tror att linjen var bra om den har varit hårdare. Ja. Ja,
struggling with the weight there again.
Jag tror inte, för ni fullsopa hela vägen.
So SUI Feltscher trying to pull the plug there. Trying to remove some of that clutter.
Undsätt längre då.
Rätt Schwantumspiel.
Bra.
Ja.
Alltså om du... Man måste spela dem utåt för att de går i sidled på slutet. Alltså den gick rakt länge och sen bara gick den i sidled. Så att man måste verkligen...
And on the second come around attempt there is a come around. And SUI Feltscher is now trying again to open things up a little bit. Gets the center moving.
Nära.
And SWE Wrana will be looking to just replace that. She's probably quite happy. Playing the clearing and guard game. And Volin.
Känns bra nära. Lite risk. 12. Ska jag gå? Fjorton 2 05. Bodin. Gud, jag kommer inte ihåg nu.
Almost gets a double takeout there, but rolls out herself. So another come around, and there's already 2 reds in the house again. SUI Feltscher is running behind a little bit. And those first 2 ends, the SWE seem to be a rock ahead.
8, 12.
All the time. It's not that big of a difference, it's just a few inches here and there. And this is not quite covered. Sabine Feltscher says, well, back 12. Let's try and push this back a little bit. I think with the right weight you can even get past the nose and over curl, so you can lie behind cover. This is looking quite close. Pushes it just past the back line.
Vänta! Var med! Japp! Japp! Wow! Japp! Vilken är det? Ja, den där.
So now it'll be interesting to see what shot they play as the next one, because you would really have to move both reds to roll behind cover and be in shot position. So I think the double is definitely there, including the roll to the left hand side. But if you ever stuff it, it's going to be dicey. You're going to be drawing against 2 as well. Sweepers are calling it to be a little bit heavy. It stays on the outside of the rock and rolls out itself, so really perfect force opportunity here to make Binia Feltscher take her one. Just really needs to hit the house for that. And if you come around nicely around those corner guards, you might even get to sit in the 4-foot area, which will narrow space down for Binia Feltscher to draw in on her last.
Ligger bra. Har plats. Åtta är bra. Ni kan dra den, du kan dra den. Dra den 4. Bra. Bra skött.
Very good shot there. Really leaving nothing but the cold draw to the button. There's no way to access that behind these corner guards. She played a magnificent freeze in the first end, so playing this one will be more or less the same. Last rock of this second end. Nothing from the sweepers yet. This needs to sit down. And managed to stick around. Back 8. Has she done enough to at least be better than 1 red? I don't think she has. Well, definitely going a steal on the board.
Ja. Ja. Nej. Men att det generellt går lite rakare. Ja. Ja. 85.
So I think we can expect a little more defensive play from the Swedish team now. And also that we have confirmation on the board. It wasn't enough. To score it all. So classical start there. Top 4 foot. Now corner guard trying to generate space for themselves.
Ja. Nära risk. 12. 12, 8 nästan.
8 byte 4.
Okej. 13-9.
So these rocks already in a quite good position. SWE Feltscher trying to tap them back a little bit, just get them past the tee line so that they can act as a catcher later on.
Men nu kan vi tänka på det.
And of course, the button will be free again. Doesn't quite get there, neither weight nor direction wise, but gets quite a nice come around out of it.
Yeah.
So, and in past years you would have seen this corner guard flying, but thanks to the 5-4 rule, this will not be possible yet. So SWE Wrana has to follow down as much as she would like to get rid of some yellow this situation.
Janet! jag funderar... Ja... Jag vet inte, kanske.
Yeah, and this is one of those ends which really show the effect of the 5-rock rule. You're 3 up, but still after 5 rocks there are 5 rocks in play.
Jag tycker jag sätter dem mycket, alltså.
And there's a second corner and tap back attempt. Gets it this time. Even removes one of the 2-shot rocks. And a lot of weight being thrown there. Almita Deval. Trying to clear up the top 4-foot yellow. And maybe take something with it on the side, but didn't quite work out. Didn't curl enough for them.
Okay.
And of course we also have a second semi-final going on. 2 sheets across the rink. It's an all-Swiss battle between Silvana Tirinzoni and Schori. They are also playing the third end at the moment, and the score is currently 1-1. Very nice tap back there again. But there is a fairly simple double, I would say. Hit the shot rock anywhere on the inside, and there should be 2 yellows flying. And if you play it really well, you can even roll behind the top 8-foot yellow. And there's really not a chance for the Swedish team to create anything in this end, so you really want to keep the damage down. Gets the roll nicely. Doesn't quite remove both, but that's quite a nice result. I thought that this would spill a bit further than it did.
Nej, den undre. Den som ligger kvar i båt. Va?
Yeah, and really good call there to just try and get rid of 2 instead of trying to create something in the middle. That would just be dangerous. Gets the double. I'll be happy with that result. Rolls out, but that's not a disaster. That's a rock less that SWE Feltscher can use.
Bra koll. Japp.
Well, sweepers have to make sure that this is not too deep into house, so not to create a double opportunity. This is pretty even and covered quite well, but I think there might be a double there. And if there is, you bet that Isabella Wrana will be ready to take it on. Yeah, I think it didn't quite curl enough. If you clip the guard at the front, it's not a disaster. You can always play the double with your next shot. Sweeping hard all the way and really gets unlucky there, removing her own at the back forefoot, leaving 2 Swiss counters. Just wrecks on the guard in the worst possible manner.
Ja, tycker det.
So now in this situation it's really about rock positioning. Where do you place the rock so there is no double available? Or the double is as difficult as possible. There is a double now, of course.
Yeah.
Hit about a quarter of that and throw a lot of weight. Crosshouse double, definitely there. Didn't miss by much on the last rock. Wrecked on the guard, Isabella Wrana. And now basically attempting the same, pretty much the same shot again. So of course that's nice. So now they know exactly what this spot will do, how much this lane will curl.
Vänta! Whoa! Yep! 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 Whoa!
Boom! Boom! Makes it go away. Double takeout, wonderful shot there. Really end saver there for Isabella Wrana.
Härligt, snyggt.
And a lot of weight being thrown there.
Ja, det var skönt.
Men också så här, man får ju, där vill man inte så här heller när man har satt in den, bara typ så här, man vill inte råka swisha på den där.
Nej.
Jag bara, det är bra där.
Ja, verkligen. Satt som en smäck. Ser ut som de kommer över sarg.
So and there is the draw weight. Will it be enough? Will it stick around? 4-shot rock. Ooh, it's heavy. Oh, has she done enough? I think she just has. Yeah. That's a single yellow on the scoreboard. Opening up the score for Team Feltscher. Didn't have much room left there.
Ja, Jag och Fanny byter stenar, men ja, så får vi se. Vi vet inte.
But did work out in the end. So now we're going into the fourth end. This will be quite an important one.
Vad är tiden totalt?
30. 17 vill vi ha efter halva. Känns som att det är ganska jämnt spelat på vägen ner, lite mindre på inhand. Man ser ju också på.
Alltså jag hade
So the Swiss side would really like to steal here.
Ja, jag hade också 14,5.
Scoring in the even ends, of course, being quite the advantage, which will eventually result in having last rock in the last end. So I think we can expect to see SUI Feltscher go quite hard for this steal.
Yeah.
The Swedish team is in a bit more comfortable position. Even if they only score one in this end, they are looking great. 4-1 after 4 without hammer, and 5 is always a very nice situation to be in. So come around, though this is by the guard by a lot. But it really has to get into the house there.
Sorry. Miss. Bra satt, Fanny. 13-7. Jättetrögt. 13-7. Ja, det är ju okej. Både bitar. 13-7, alltså. Antingen så är det verkligen stenen. Eller så är det spåret.
Very nice second center guard there. So now another come around attempt. Fanny Sjöberg was a bit short on her first one. Now the out turn side. Well, it was pretty close, but gets caught on the line a little bit. But all in all, not a disaster. Moves one yellow to the side. So now, since SUI Feltscher is playing the takeout, the house will probably be open after this. As the next shot we'll see is very likely to be the center guard clearing. Hit and rolls. Very nice, good shot there. Again, veteran call. No need to force the issue here. Make him go away one by one. So Stephanie Berse being asked to throw up another center guard. Just to keep the opponents busy in the center.
Dubbel. Yeah.
And it's a bit deep there. So now we can expect another bullet coming down the ice. Would of course love to remove both yellows. The angle is quite difficult to get it across the face of this second yellow. Have to hit it really thin. But with that weight, you don't even have to get across the face. It just flies, making things awkward for SWE Feltscher side.
Puff, puff. Järnet nu.
And another misthrow there.
Bra där. Ja. Ganska lätt här nu. Ja, 15. Topp 4. Känns som sackar. 4, 8, 4. 10. 10.
So this also being slightly heavy.
Bra bedömt för mig.
So now going for the freeze option.
Det kanske bakom tiden. Det löser sig.
I think there would also have been an opportunity to tap it back just past the back line and then roll to the left a little bit. Going for the dead freeze, of course a very hard rock because everything has to be perfect. The line, the weight. There's really not much room for error. Can't leave an angle. And Karol Hovald is really close on that, but there is a hit and roll opportunity. You might lose your back 4 red, but that's not a big deal for the Swedish team. I think that back 4 red is hurting them more than anything. That's also why they're going to throw some weight at it to make sure both rocks go away. And the New Orleans does just that.
Bra.
Really love to get across the face and roll a bit to the side. Have they left it too long? No, perfect. Very nice roll there.
Ja. Ja. Ja.
So I think there's definitely a race takeout there. Hit as much as you can see. And he will probably be in good shape. This is almost completely open, if not completely. It's a bit difficult to judge from this angle. So just hit it lightly on the inside. Closer to the side where the broom is.
Ja! Ja! Wow! Ta en gula.
And this is a perfect example of weight management. They really, of course, this rock didn't work out the way they wanted it to be. They wanted it to work out, but really you could see, even though they have thrown a couple of heavyweight takeouts just before that, they decided to go with the lower weight. Of course, got caught on the curl a little bit there. But the advantage, of course, being that there is much more possibility to influence the rock's direction through sweeping.
Ja. Ja, det är bra.
So, and all that is left for Isabella Wrana is a hit and stay for a single. She'll be quite happy with that result. Can't roll out of the forefoot though.
Ja. Oh. Ja. Rent. Rent.
Hits and sticks.
10-4.
Top forefoot for one. Which makes the score after 4 ends 4-1.
Bra. Härligt.
Hammer with Binja Feltscher.
Mm.
Mina går lite högre så att vi med. Känns
Bra.
mer jämna nu i alla fall.
Ja, skönt. Skönt för både dig och mig. Även fast det är jobbigt för dig. Så jag har en kanalsystem här.
So we're starting the second half of this game. And really, Binja Feltscher have to think of something, has to generate some points there. Because trailing behind a team that plays takeouts as well as this young Swedish team does, it's very difficult to catch up.
Känns bra. Lite lång.
Ja, lite lång. Bara sitta ett tag.
Bak 4.
Bak 8 nästan. Bak 8.
Ska vi
Bak 12.
dra den? Ja. Jag vet att du skulle köra. Man får ju sopa till stenen är vid tid. Ja.
Sweeping it through, well, not a problem there for the Swedish team. Would have liked to have a rock top 4. And there's the side we don't see too often. SWE Feltscher sweeping. Well, it has been a long tournament. It's always nice to catch a bit of a breath if you can as a sweeper on a rock like this.
Topp 8.
So some of you at home might think now, why is this team coming around the corner guard? I mean, they don't have last rock. Well, if you do it, you can make room smaller for your opposition, but there's also some risk involved.
95.
So you really have to be careful. But there's something you have to do with that rock before you are able to play takeouts on the guards. So you might as well make life difficult for your opposition as much as you can. Freezing right on top of it, giving it a little nudge.
Topp 12. Ja. 15-20.
So we're still in the 5-rock rule, so we still can't play clearings on the guards. So Swedish team will try and move the rocks in the house a little bit. Just get to the top of it. Basically, play the exact same shot the Swiss team just played. This is not coming up for them. Not curling enough, and it's a bit deep.
Ja, det rinner känns som på många fronter. Men vad hade ni för tider på den? För det känns som jag kunde spela den ännu lösare. Ja, jag gav den ganska mycket. Men jag vill inte kolla över. Om det var det vi sa.
Nice rock there. Very good freeze. And giving the back red a little nudge.
Yep.
But not a problem. So now we can see SWE Wrana starting to play at the guard. Almeida Deval just gets the clearing, which is fine in this situation, I suppose.
Bra.
And these rocks pretty much building a line. Quite difficult to get several rocks moving. There's probably a double available. Hitting the top yellow on the inside. With a lot of weight. You will lose your top 8-foot red as well. But you can live with that.
Den hängde precis för kanten.
And really wants to spread the house now. Spread those rocks all over the scoring area. To make sure that the rolls and the doubles will be as difficult as possible. This is probably as good as it gets. Now hit and stay. Right on the beak.
Det kändes hård.
Very nice. So this is going to be a back and forth hand from now on. Both teams just waiting for a little slip up. Hit and sticks again. How many people might be thinking about trying a double takeout here? The problem is if you ever happen to hit it in the worst possible spot. We're looking at as many as 4. So SUI Wrana can live very well with a deuce in this end. Still being one up and having hammer in the even ends. Quite comfortable position to be in.
Whoa. Whoa. Carla. Sit. Okay.
Oh, and this is curling a lot. hits and rolls. Will it stick around? No. So and this really being the sensible option there.
Vill du köra en clearing så eller?
This is exactly one of those situations where many club curlers will try and make a play at the shot rock, but you really don't have to. Of course, allowing a deuce is never nice, but it's definitely not the end of the world, and it's definitely the safer option than to try and navigate this shot rock by your own.
Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah.
Make it go away. Roll to the middle if you can. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Quite a good roll there, but I think a straight back nose hit will do the trick for a deuce. Just can't hit it on the center line side. Hits and rolls a little bit to the side, making this deuce on the board and a 1-point game. Isabella Wrana leading 4-3 after 5 here in the semi-final at the Women's Masters.
Boom, boom, boom. Keep the energy up.
So now we're in a similar situation as we were in end number 4. Isabella Wrana will do a lot to score here, but she doesn't have to score a deuce. Would be nice, of course, but if it's just a single, that's not the end of the world.
Right.
The winner of this game, of course, going on to the final.
Okej, Jenny. Du tryckte alldeles för tidigt. Alldeles för tidigt. Ja.
The second semi-final is a bit of a back and forth game. Silvana Tirinzoni scored 4 in the 4th end. Irene Schori getting a deuce back, so we're standing at 5-3 after 5.
Klockan 95. Vad hade du? Ja, vi kanske ska spela lite lösare från början. Det glider mer än vad vi tror Lina också.
Of course, the winners from this and the other game I just mentioned will meet today at 2:30. This will of course also be broadcasted. Oh, and this is definitely shorter than they would have liked it.
Vi tar vänster.
Pretty close, very good. So now we'll start to see some granite flying. I suppose Almeida de Val. We'll try and take away at least 2 of those center guards. Oh, and just narrowly misses the 3rd one. Very good attempt there. And there is not really much of an option there for SUI Wrana than to try and open it up again. These center guards were so good. You couldn't really aim for a double there. So you really don't want to create too much of an angle there, because as soon as those guards are staggered or too close together, there is a possibility for a double. Another heavyweight takeout. Not attempting the double here. Could have tried. I think there was a bit of an angle.
Ska vi gå på en dubbel? På nästa.
So it's always this discussion, when do you come into the house and try to get to shot rock? I think right now you really want to play another guard. But then again, you also have to move this red rock a little bit because you want to steal. So you have to move that shot stone. And this guard is a tad long. I think you have to try the double takeout here. It's definitely not a gimme, but it's there. It's possible. Any ball in, bring in the heat. And just misses the second guard.
Om de frysar egen. Om de liksom inte blir utlyftade om man ligger sådär.
Ja.
Man kan tänka sig gaddad den sidan. Om de ligger sådär.
Ja, låsta.
So now it's decision time for Isabella Wrana. What do you do?
Nej.
If you open up the center completely, it will be a fairly easy hit and stick for Pina Feltscher to get to shot position and lie 2, potentially 3, if you ever manage to squeak by to back yellow. So you find yourself in a position where you might guard the center yourself. I think a center guard right now is the way to go, because there is not really a lot of room for Pina Feltscher and her team to move this shot rock, so there would have to be a double tap. And with a come around, I don't think that there is an opportunity to get to shot rock.
Ja, ligger bra. Har plats. Kalla mycket nu, lite tight. Bara stanna.
Nothing from the sweepers. This has to sit down. And it's pretty close. That's very good. Good spot. Even taking away the straight run there. So really there's just maybe an inch of room for Pina Feltscher.
Ja, lite knappen där.
Our advantage of course being that she already could practice this rock on the shot she was a bit heavy on before, so she knows exactly where she has to put the broom. She knows exactly how much she has to correct the weight. Really a veteran skip, Pina Feltscher. He's been on the tour for so many years. And it's heavy again. Decided to sweep it a little bit so that if Isabella Wrana came right down to it, that it wouldn't be better than her top 4-foot biter. So Isabella Wrana needs to find a piece of the 4-foot for her deuce. The single is guaranteed at this point, which is fairly comforting. This would certainly be a nice bonus.
Ligger bra. Ligger bra. Helt er.
Sweepers are on it now. Looking happy. Yeah, that's a very controlled draw to the 4-foot. Sticks it on the tee line for the deuce.
14-3. Bra.
Making use of that hammer.
Bra spel. koll. Ja. Riktigt bra skött på den där.
So we're going into the 7th end. With the Swedes being 3 up. Some people might be tempted to call this game early, but especially since the addition of the 5-rock rule, there's no such thing as being safe. When you have hammer, very quickly you can create a possibility to score 2 or 3 even, which would be needed for SWE Feltscher's team here, I suppose.
Wow. Bra spel. Bra Jenny. 13-9. 12. 10. Wow. Bra spel.
And this is unlucky. Coming into the house with this guard. Making life easy for SWE Wrana and her team.
Spelar jag 4-2, ja. Jag får inte slå, va? Nej. Ja. 20 är det. Gav det mycket, gav det mycket. Gav det mycket.
And Almeida Deval just trying to put another one in there. Get to the nose if possible. Of course, it's a bit frustrating. There's not much room for SWE Feltscher to utilize that corner guard. So has to make a play at the rocks that are in the house, tap them back.
Bara klippa deras. Lite mer kallare.
Oh, corner guard going to be removed. hits and rolls out, opening up the whole house. And SWE Feltscher asking Stephanie Berset to once more tap the red rocks back. This is hanging wide, so SWE Feltscher is trying to get it by her own to prevent what just happened from happening. Because right now this rock is accessible for Jenny Wallin. Hits and moves a fraction to the center. Very nice shot there. Full points.
Jag får också det ibland med.
And SWE Feltscher calling for another tap, which has really been the theme in this game. We've seen a lot of situations where she has had to play a tap back and making things, of course, difficult for her, because a tap back is one of the hardest shots in the repertoire. Line and weight has to be spot on. Of course, having able sweepers, as these teams do, helps with that. And a very good shot there. Nicely done. But in general, you would like to play as simple as you can, make it life easy for yourself. Not like Jenny Wallin right now would basically just have to remove this top 4-foot rock, no matter where her own rock ends up, probably roll out with that weight. Just doesn't want to stuff it anywhere. Boom, boom, takes one at the back as well. That's a nice bonus. Yeah, sometimes it can be beneficial to remove your own rocks as well. Good shot there. Karol Hovald being asked to come around those red rocks. Very close on the weight, but Rex on the guard. And now I guess we will see the
then
exact same shot again. Just a simple clearing. Just a short debate on what turn to play. Electing to go with the out turn and another heavyweight takeout there. Big extension.
Oh, yep. Oh, yep.
Almost gets the one at the back 4-foot as well.
Det är nog lugnt. Bra spel.
So now, trying the hit and roll. Of course, when you're down, you don't really want to play takeouts, but you don't really have another option. If you play the freeze, the Swedes might play a guard, and you will only score 1, which will definitely not be enough. If you just come around, the Swedes might do the same, and you again only draw for 1. So after this you have to be shot and covered. Hits and sticks on the button. Well, this is not going to be good enough for a deuce at this end.
Nej.
This might be one of the moments where you can clearly see that there is one team that is far closer to victory than the other. So Isabella Wrana really just wants to remove this yellow. I think if she could roll to the left a little bit, basically play the same rock Minia Feltscher just played, that would be nice for her. That's a really good shot there. I don't think they intended to do that, but having seen Minia Feltscher struggle with her draw weight in this game, I think this is definitely the one to go. Because if you steal here, it's probably going to be shake hands. So Minia Feltscher needs a good piece of the forefoot. So Larissa Hari and Carol Howald on the brush. Really have to get this into the forefoot. And a very nice shot there. But probably a little bit too late in this game. Being 2 down without hammer. Dicey situation. You need some major mistakes.
Det är en säker dragning typ. Alltså det är ganska lite skillnad mellan en 10 och bakkant.
Om vi tänker att jag ska spela en 90.
Without those, there's going to be a winner. And it's not going to be Team Feltscher. Of course, the Swiss crowd in the stands would like to see an all-Swiss final. 3 out of the 4 semi-final teams being Swiss. So soft peel or kick shot attempt here by Fanny Sjöberg.
Jag var inte beredd att du skulle ta den. Jag bara, Bra.
Hits and rolls to the side.
Bra lir. 13-6.
Opens up the middle, which is essential to the shot.
Jag tror att igen är klockan 90.
I'm a bit surprised at the weight of this just thrown tick shot. Of course, you can play a tick shot in an offensive manner, where you try and create 2 corner guards or roll in with your own, in ideal case. But if you use it as a defensive rock, you usually want to make sure that you don't stick around. And if this were not to hit, it would have stuck around in the house somewhere, giving SWE Feltscher an opportunity to freeze too. And same shot being called. Of course it worked out, so and 2 of those nicely done by Fanny Sjöberg. It's probably the hardest lead shot there is. The lead usually has quite a set of rocks they have to play. And you can hear they are happy about it. Makes life so much easier for the rest of the end. Because of course Almida de Val will now be allowed to remove rocks by force. But we can never forget that there is still quite a few rocks lying around.
Yep.
So they might act as a catcher somewhere. Now, big weight. Would love to take one of those right-hand side yellows with them. And does just that. Very nice shot there by Almida de Val. Was also the wise skip of this team.
Ja. Ja.
So now Jenny Volin has to be careful not to stick around. Almida de Val, of course. We're still at second rocks. This is the kind of break that SWE Feltscher needs. Some luck there. And there's going to be another miss needed. And now, of course, we're playing with thinking time here in the semi-final and final stage, so that also means that both teams get a timeout. So we're just gonna listen to them, what they discuss.
inte köra timer nollas när han...
So, and after team discussion, including national coach Sebastian Stock, they've come to the conclusion what the best placement for this next rock will be. I said they will need another miss, and they will need SWE Wrana to miss her last. So it's one of those ends where you, going by statistics, very often don't have a chance. But still, you can't give up because the possibility is still there. And that doesn't work out for them at all. This needed to roll further to the right-hand side. So if this double is made by any Volin, then I think then there is not much of a chance that Team Feltscher will recover. Ooh. Only gets a single.
Det är fortfarande öppet.
So it is staying interesting.
Fortfarande öppet.
So they're trying to come around again. If you can touch the red, it's not a disaster. Actually very nice to redirect there. Very good there. So now there's the question, do you need to hit your own first? Or would it not be enough to just play and try and remove the yellow that is lying shot rock at the moment? Oh, feels comfortable with it, absolutely no problem. Removes one. Now we're going to see the same come around again. just a tad longer. If you can wiggle off the red, that would of course be ideal. Give you some extra sideward motion. They've seen this spot twice already, so they should know where to place the broom. Is heavy. This really needs to stick around. Well, I think it's still in the house. Maybe it's still biting. It's hard to judge from the overhead camera. It might be, might not be. Always depends a little bit on the house.
Yeah.
Whether the marking is quite accurate or not. But it looks as if it's out. So here, just clearing this guard. So that you will have free vision with your last.
Yeah. Whoa. Whoa.
Very nicely done.
No.
And now where do you put this? It doesn't really matter too much at this point where you end up, since there is a complete miss needed by Isabella Wrana. And there's already one rock that's completely open and available.
Yeah.
Hit the stick, pick one, it doesn't really matter if you don't score here. You might actually get the single if you hit this on the nose. But for the overall result, it's actually only relevant whether the back yellow is in or not. Which is still, from this perspective, it looks a little bit like it's biting. From the overhead, not so much. But Isabella Wrana has had a solid game, so you should expect her to make this.
Rent. Whoa, whoa. Whoa. Sit.
And it will sit around for second shot. And this is game.
Game. Thank you.
Steal of one for SWE Feltscher in the last. But this will not be enough.
Ooh.
To claw their way back into the game and force an extra end.
Hey.
Solid performance by the Swedish team. Who will move on to the final today at 2:30 to play for the total winning of 10,000 Swiss francs. We will be back in 75 minutes or so. Tune in again. We will we will broadcast the game between Team Wrana and whoever wins the game that is still going on. 2 sheets across. And I'm just being informed that Tirinzoni won. So it will be Silvana Tirinzoni versus Isabella Wrana at 2:30. Tune in again. See you later. Thank you very much.